name is Eimear Dolan. I'm a lecturer of Biomedical Engineering at the National University of Ireland, Galway. So I studied Biomedical Engineering at NUI as well, and then I did a PhD here. So I've spent a lot of time at NUI. Following that, I spent some time working as a researcher in Trinity College in Dublin, in the Royal College of Surgeons in Dublin as well, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I decided to become an engineer when I did a lot of suitability tests when I was in the senior cycle in school. I really loved maths and I liked biology as well, and accounting actually. So I kind of thought that I was going to do something a little bit more analytical. But actually I didn't know any engineers at the time, and my family didn't really either. So I wasn't entirely sure what engineering actually was. I also went to an all-girls school, so we didn't do, some of the engineering subjects like applied maths. So I guess it was a little bit of a chance that I took to studying engineering, but it definitely paid off. I definitely think that I'm suited to engineering, and I really enjoyed the course at NUI and enjoy what I'm doing right now as well. Here, you definitely need to enjoy and be good at maths for sure. I think it's really inbuilt in what we do as engineers. Another thing that I think is important is to be enjoy problem solving and also to be creative, because really what we're doing as engineers is that we are using engineering principles and design. In biomedical engineering, we combine this with biology and medicine to try and innovate solutions to improve healthcare and human health. So I guess, that's maybe one of the differences to engineering as a career is very broad. Biomedical engineers apply engineering principles and design to things like medicine and biology, whereas environmental engineers, apply engineering principles and design to the environment to solve problems. So that's kind of what we do. We're trained in the principles and fundamentals of engineering, and then we use those skills to solve problems. I guess more female engineers being visible, I think is important to show potential students that it's definitely an option for women, and women do really well in engineering. Other things like, I mentioned that I went to an all-girls school, and I didn't really, nobody really did engineering in my year, and we do a lot of school visits in NUI Galway to go out to secondary schools to talk to potential students, and it's really important for women to do those school visits and go to the girls' schools to really show that engineering is an option for women. Do I think that people understand what it is to be an engineer? I think the career of an engineer is very broad. The day-to-day workings of a civil engineer might be very different to what a biomedical engineer does. However, we do use the same principles and concepts to approach problems and design solutions. So I think maybe that's where the misconception about what an engineer actually does lies. But I think that, it's probably more what you're interested in. So I think that maybe if somebody is very good at maths and is a creative problem solver, but also is really interested in biology, then for sure biomedical engineering would be a good choice for them. But if you had an interest in machinery, mechanical things, mechanical engineering could be a good option, or roads and bridges and buildings, civil engineer could be a good option for you. So I think the career itself is very broad, and I think when you look at the individual types of engineering, then it becomes more clear what an engineer actually is. If a student is good at maths and problem solving but isn't sure if engineering is for them, I would definitely advise them to try and go to as many open days as possible, or a lot of the open days are now available virtually, or there is a lot of stuff on YouTube which describes what an engineer actually does. I would definitely encourage them to look into that in good detail, yeah, I think it's a great career, and I would encourage them to go for it. So interestingly, our engineering building at NUI Galway, which is just behind me here, is named after Alice Perry, who was the first female to graduate with an engineering degree in Ireland and the UK, and possibly also Europe. So it's really interesting and really nice to work in that building, and for all to see all the female engineering students studying in the Alice Perry Engineering Building. One thing that I find really interesting and exciting about being an engineer in my current job, but also if I was working in industry, is that there's a lot of international collaboration. You know, in Galway we have a lot of multinational companies that are based here in Galway, and that results in a lot of collaboration with both companies in Europe and in the US. I mean, over the last number of years, I've worked with numerous companies and universities based in Europe, but also in the US as well. So I think it's very nice, and it's very important to be able to see where we stand as engineers in Ireland, and also to be able to work and get global perspectives about the research that's happening in both companies and in universities overseas.